Hello and welcome back to Spiderwick Chronicles. This is BioEnchanted, and today we'll be doing some more side quests. So let's get to it, shall we? By starting off by speaking to our little hobgoblin buddy over here.
Hey kid,
Hogswheel.
now that you got that weapon of mass destruction, could you do me a favor?
Well, normally, I like to avoid confrontations.
Yeah, but a couple of bull goblins betrayed my family to the ogre.
That's terrible. Where are they?
They hang out by the pond in the deep woods.
Not for long, they don't.
Didn't take much to get him to be all bloodthirsty, did it? Just finding out that ourselves is enough, so... Let's take him out, shall we? And in doing so, we'll go to a new area as well. The deep woods.
Another tooth.
This is a side quest that's specific to this character. Each character has their own little thing that they have to do for Hogswheel. Jared has releasing him, and he has taking out the bull goblins. We'll see, of course, Mallory has one later, and we'll see what they do for the characters at the end of this video. So let's head towards the deep woods, shall we? Which are fairly close by, it doesn't take long to get there. You may notice we actually have started with a few fairies, so yeah, I kind of misremembered in both fronts. You do actually start with the fairies you had at the end of the last play session. I think I just may have ended the last play session before this one without any fairies left over. So here's the way to the deep woods. An area I quite like, although it can be a little dangerous if you don't know what you're doing. You can easily get turned around as well. As you can see, it has a lot of tall grass surrounding the camera, surrounding the central area. But we know how to deal with tall grass. And yeah, I actually understood with these fairies here. We actually do need to capture them, and I will be capturing these 5. So yeah, I'll be going back for the other 3 in a later, like, a bonus video. So not bonus, but in a later video when I go back to sweep up the things I missed last time. But there we are. When it's dizzy, you do actually have to hit the stray solid of the net to capture it. I think the last time I tried to, I just kept missing. But here we go, let's get the 5 that are here, and then on a later date we'll go back to the meadow for the other 3. But yeah, as you can see, they give you gobstones for each one. Let's be careful of this guy. Don't accidentally try and capture him, that would be foolish. He's just kind of out of the way now, so... He'll be coming back to the tall grass later, though.
I can do something with this.
This area is kind of an interesting structure because it's a load of tall grass surrounding this central big oak tree with a bunch of, like, a big sort of path going around the outside, sort of like a track. There we go, that's that guy confused. And now we've dropped another one of these barriers for now. I like the little picture, they're very cute. In an ugly way, but I quite like the way the stray sods look with the little, like, the tall grass going out the back. That's a very, it's sort of a cute little visual thing. It does a good job with the whole, like, the camouflage sort of idea. Yeah, we actually have to be far enough away for them to actually venture out the tall grass, because as you can see, that one's actually getting a bit spooked right now. Goblin, go away. It's going to be really annoying in this area if the goblins start attacking you through the tall grass, because you can often have trouble hitting them back. Because they end up fleeing into the tall grass and then you just can't hit them. Well, you can hit them, it's just kind of awkward. There we are. There's a telltale sign of beating him, though. There we are. Yeah, this guy I had to go a few tries with. I like the deep woods because while it is significantly darker than the main path in the woods, it's still kind of, it's not overly bleak looking. There's still a lot of colour to it.
This tree's different somehow.
And a lot of visual fun to it, because generally woods don't tend to be all that dark in real life. Like, I used to live in an area with a rather large wood nearby, and no matter how deep you went in, you're still fairly brightly lit. Even right towards the middle of it, because there's still a lot of gaps between the trees and everything like that. We're not quite thinking of speaking the Amazon here. Even then, during the day, the Amazon's relatively bright from what I've seen of it in TV and stuff like that. So, you know, generally it's like, it's nice to have a wood that's actually well lit and not completely bleak like, say, Hogwarts Forbidden Forest, for example. Which is the type of thing I'm thinking of when I'm thinking of the ones where they're just kind of bleak because it's meant to be like a deep, scary part of the woods. But, generally, it doesn't really get that dark in those kind of areas unless it's nightfall. I mean, to be fair, I mean, a lot of the time in the Forbidden Woods and Harry Potter you are at nightfall. Because just of the nature of the whole, the setting and everything like that, the narrative events. But let's get this last trace of the area, the Huskap. Don't know why I said that as if it was his job, but there you go. And we actually come across one of my favourite fairies in this area. This big purple guy.
I own you.
This guy does a lot of damage. This fairy is quite dangerous if you don't know what you're doing, or if you're fighting with a character who's not as good at stun locking as he is. But yeah, this guy, the Beetle Mimic Sprite, forms a clone of you. I failed a few times at capturing this guy because he has his large tendrils towards the bottom of the picture. So I had to cut out a lot of failure here because he has his massive tendrils that come out the bottom of the picture that are very hard to see. Right there, look. These very faint lines down there you have to capture as well as the rest of him. Otherwise it won't count. You go right down to the name that they're so faint it's hard to see. But now we've caught it. The only Beetle Mimic Sprite in the game.
Jack will really like this.
I like it for the gimmick. I never use it because I never come back here for it because I have to come back here if I wanted to grab it again. Because they always reappear in the same place. That's kind of a problem with this game, is that for those kind of really rare fairies, there's no real incentive to go back for them when you've used them once, because they're just kind of there for cute gimmick. And while it is a cute gimmick with a lot of charm to it, it's not one that would be particularly useful in gameplay terms. Because while it'd be nice to have a clone running around with you, generally it's good to have like other fairies that are closer by and have more easily applicable abilities, because there's just more of them in the world. Like ones you can just grab on the way. Because otherwise I'd only have like 2-3 slots if I kept the Beetle Mimic around until it was useful, and so it's just kind of there. But it's a nice idea. So let's try and capture this blue arsehole. These guys are a little bit of a pain if you forget there is a trick to them. It's what I'm about to employ. No, remember it. Because these guys are fast, so it's very easy to miss them, but of course, the fairy fruit. Whoops. There we are.
Get it.
So let's go off our Link Sprite Hody. This area's got a lot of rather interesting side quest stuff, but that'll be a little later in this video. For now, it's all kind of the same sort of stuff we've seen before, just in different location, capturing the same kind of fairies we've already seen. But there's not many of them, and we've pretty much got all of the important ones, because we don't really have much else in this area to look for. There's one thing I have missed, but I know roughly where it is, so I'll be coming back for that in the same video I probably do the stray swords in. I quite like this area because it's not quite like, it's kind of perpetually sunset. Generally that's I think for the entire game really, but it's kind of more striking here with all the reds and everything like that, and all the other autumnal colours. It's nice to have it be that kind of thing.
Eat tomato juice.
So let's actually throw stuff, shall we? The tomato grenades are nice, but they don't do as much damage as this. The gobstones explode, you see, now that we've done the first part of the little tunnel guy quest. I forgot what they're called now, but you know, the little guy who upgraded our gobstones. You know, they can explode and do a lot of damage as well. They can pretty much kill a hobgoblin in... No, not hobgoblin, no, don't want to hurt him. But they can pretty much kill a bull goblin in like 2 hits, at least the ones on the ledges. Or at least relatively few hits, I wouldn't say 2 exactly. Some of these ones are easier to kill than others, I think. It kind of varies. That's just the way back. Another exit to the deep woods, back to the main woods. And here is the main area where we'll be fighting the bull goblins. And as you can see, they're throwing stones from quite far away, and there's a lot of them in this area, relative to other areas especially. So let's take as many out as we can. There's a few, of course, up there that I don't get till a bit later. Let's take out the ones on the ground first, though. It's always satisfying now when you bounce them around like an idiot. I quite like this little swamp area because there's not a lot of swamps in the game. There's only like 2 of them, the one with the little jumpy platforms and this one. But they're very varied in appearance, and that's a pretty nice kind of thing to keep things interesting. Like this one has a lot of algae on the water and a lot of like lilies and things like that, and a lot of visual things going on. While the other one was more grasslands in the area with all of the will-o'-the-wisps and everything like that, and the jumping puzzles. Take care of these guys on the ledge now.
Go get it!
Oops.
Ah!
Yeah, that was my mistake.
I've got a lot of these gobstones.
Glad the game gives you plenty of them.
Hey!
Yeah, I got to switch to health, that was bad. Yeah, this last guy is kind of hard to reach because he's quite high up on the ledge. You have to find just the right area where you can even see him because you have to get quite close to actually be able to see him. But getting close to him also means he starts throwing things at you, which is just impolite. Ah, okay, it takes 3 of the gobstones to actually kill one. Well, generally that only really works when they're on ledges, because otherwise they get up to you way too quickly and all of a sudden you have to fight them fairly, and that's just kind of difficult when they do, considering how much damage they do. So now it's just time to do a bit of exploration over here.
I can do something with this.
Because we have a few things to find in the swamp now that we've taken care of all the enemies, like a few fairies and things like that.
How do you like
And I
that?
suppose there's a few normal goblins here now to give us problems.
I can do something with this.
I quite like how mobile the combat makes you be, because it means you're always running around in an area, which means you always run over one of those little prompts that says, hey, there's a thing here, grab it. That's a very nice way of keeping you moving forward into an area, or keeping you running in certain circles in an area that will give you the edge you need to get to certain
I
areas.
think Thimbletack will really like this.
Let's call this for this log, shall we? It's a neat little idea. Of course, there's a will-o'-the-wisp, but there's not many of these left in the game, as I recall. Generally, there's not many of a lot of these fairies left, actually. We're very close to exploring the entire area. This game doesn't have as big a world as it may appear. It feels bigger in certain areas, but for the most part... Whoops. But for the most part, it's a relatively compact world with a lot of variety to it. Yeah, I may have ended up missing that bellflower that we saw earlier, but
Gotcha.
we'll see if I have or haven't. But if I have, I'll come back for it in that later video I mentioned. That'll be a very, very abridged short video, just me picking up all the loose ends. So over here, finally, there's actually some very interesting stuff to deal with over here. This little red guy is quite difficult to capture guy, you know what I mean? Because she doesn't fly low very much. You have to kind of lure her down, and even then that's really hard to actually do, because those things don't last as long as you'd think they would. And so generally she'll come kind of lower down towards it when she sees it, but then it'll kind of disappear when she's halfway down, like that. And also I may have accidentally picked it back up again like an idiot. But either way, it would have vanished on its own anyway, and then she would have just gone back up again like she just did. So this is quite a difficult balancing act, capturing this red one. We just have to keep tossing and just hope it comes low enough for us to actually capture this thing. But it really does not want to come close enough. It's having, like, it's giving me troubles. These are kind of fairies I don't particularly like. It's the ones that really get, like, elusive on you, because they're kind of a pain to capture. There we are. Came low enough to finally capture this Royal Orchid sprite. Flax. This is a very special sprite, as we'll see when I finish drawing it.
No, not me. Who's we? Yeah, they tend to do that. Hey, there are birdhouses by the mansion. You should move in there.
So yeah, let's use a few of those to free her so she can actually go to the area. Otherwise she won't spawn there. So we'll just leave this area. We'll actually be going straight back through that hole as well, because there's actually another one to capture here as well now that she's gone. So she's out the way. And here's the other one. A flowerhead sprite's now here instead. I quite like these fairies, the garden fairies as they're called by the game.
I won't hurt you. You were one of Arthur's friends, weren't you? Fox lives by the mansion. You should join her there. Oh, gotcha!
And there we go. So it's time to just grab one last thing as we're just going around these areas. You've just been making sure I've got everything, although I did actually miss a couple of things. I'm kind of an idiot, but again, I'll be back for those. And I know pretty much exactly what I've missed. The main thing I remembered was that there's another relevant relic we could have got, so let's go back and grab that, because that was the one thing I almost missed that I remembered about. But of course these guys have respawned. Not all of them, of course. We've killed the actual bull goblins, so all the danger's gone. But the little guys are still running around and causing nuisance. So let's hit up this step, grab the thing I missed, which is over here.
I can do
And then we'll
something
skip straight to back to the mansion to finish things off here. Because we don't need to see the whole journey, do we? And here we are. Just want to release that fairy. For the same reason as the other one. Let's just let it expire. And then she'll go with the other fairy, and we can see what they'll end up doing for us. This is one of the side quests I really like, for reasons you'll see in a few minutes. It's a really cute sort of thing.
Amazing.
Yeah, I love the way they revitalize the garden. It's a really nice visual, and it's a good way of visually marking
Your
how
garden
far you are
looks
through the
hot.
quest as well. I quite like the look of the gardens when they're revitalized. That's really cute, and it also gives a reason for the birdhouses to actually be here. So that's pretty neat as well, because they're there, of course, mostly environmentally, but also to be the homes of the remaining sprites as well. Of course, everyone nearly forgot something here, so I'll be leaving the house pretty much immediately to actually finish the side quest and turn it in, since I actually almost forgot to speak to Hogsqueal to turn in the side quest to actually finish it and get the reward. That would have been very stupid of me. About stupid just forgetting a few other things I forgot about, but there we go. So here we are.
Those bull goblins in the swamp wouldn't hurt anyone else. Thanks.
No, thank you, kid.
Yeah, the reason each of the kids has a side quest with
Do maps.
Hogsqueal
Get your brother
is
to help
because
ya.
they actually get that as the reward. He spits at you, well, at them rather, and that allows them to see the world for what it is permanently. So now 2 of the 3 children don't need the
Time to
stone
rest.
anymore. So let's bring out this guy and just kind of hang. I'll see you next time for when we do a few the next set of main quest stuff, as we find the treasure map and see what we can do with that. Goodbye.